Hello everyone, my name is Tara and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video I'm going to be reflecting and rewinding back to the first weeks that I moved into this house with my family. I know that in previous videos I had already covered September, October, and a little bit of November. I originally thought I was going to start this video on November 12th because that's where my previous videos had left off on, but there were some memories that I wanted to capture in these videos that I don't think I had put in other videos when we first moved in, and I just wanted to make sure that those details were included. I also wanted to share for people who are just seeing this channel brand new. I started this channel back in January of 2025, and I've been on a hiatus because when we moved, I just couldn't keep up with it with everything going on. And the main reason I started it was because back in 2025, I felt very overwhelmed and defeated and disappointed and disgusted really with what was going on in the United States socially and politically. I was really feeling just completely devastated with the outcomes and with the situations that were happening. And it was really hard for me to go to bed and have things that made me feel happy to pop in my head. And so when I started this YouTube channel, I wanted to focus on the interactions and the people that did make me happy, to help me realize that there were lots of many interactions and things that happened during my days and my weeks that I was really thankful for. And I counted my blessings that the interactions or the memories did occur. And that, for anyone new to this channel, that's why I am continuing that. It's not because I don't realize what's going on, and it's not to be positive when fake positivity when things are hard or challenging, but really just for my own mental stamina to focus in on what brings me joy and what can bring me happiness and what I can control. And so I also wanted to let other people be able to listen to these, and that's why I put them on YouTube in case other people were feeling down or feeling defeated. Maybe these videos would give others something happy and something maybe comical or just entertaining to listen to, instead of hearing the news that can be really devastating and really just saturated with sadness. And that was my main goal of this channel, is to bring peace, love, and joy, and any type of happiness that can be shared. So going back into the video of the start of this lifestyle in this house, I also wanted to say that it took me a lot longer than I had anticipated to get back in that mindset of where I was in September, because I had calendars that I wrote notes on, and I was planning on just skimming through the notes and seeing what was taking place and what was happening. But the week after July 7th of 2026, when I was starting to get organized to do my videos of all the months that I had been wanting to catch up on, I had put my calendars on our shelf and I had watered some flowers, and I didn't realize that the flower pot had leaked and it got all over my 2025 calendar, and so I couldn't even open the flaps or the pages without ripping other parts of the calendar, and everything was just illegible. You couldn't even read what I had written, and I was really frustrated, and I was really defeated in that moment because I didn't know how I was going to catch up on what was happening at that time in my life. And so the last few weeks of July, now that we're at the very end of it, I've been going back through photographs. I've been going back through home videos as well as text messages to try to piece together what was going on in this span of our life. And so the first thing I wanted to remind myself is that I know it's a small detail, but to me it's really impactful. And the first night that we moved into this house, my family had Annie's macaroni and cheese. And I just remember feeling so stressed out. Everything was just all over the floor. We didn't know where everything was because some things were at our house and some things were at my parents' house since they live just 10 minutes away. And having the macaroni and cheese was just a really big comfort food. And it was a really peaceful part of the evening with my husband and my daughter. And she was just having a ball eating her noodles and some veggies that we heated up and cooked for her with that meal. And it was just that peacefulness that we really needed in the move on that first night. And so I always wanted to remember that. Another part that happened in the month of September that I don't think I put in another video is that my husband's job was still in the process of getting used to for him. He was a Tech 1 cleaner, which is another title for custodian, and he was working at a nursing home residence, so there was lots of clients and people that he would interact with on a day-to-day basis. When he started the job, he was told that he was just supposed to go into those rooms, clean what needed to be cleaned, and leave without talking to the clients or the residents. And he just felt very uncomfortable doing that. My husband has a very big heart, and he's a very personable and authentic person, and he did not feel right going into somebody's personal living space and not having a genuine conversation with them. And so he really got to know the likes and interests or dislikes of the people that he was cleaning the rooms for. And, they also got to know their sense of humor and different passions that they may have had throughout their lives. And there was this one man who had passed away in the month of September, and it really had a big impact on my husband. And not only was it a stressful time because we were still getting used to the move, but his schedule was all over the place. He didn't have every weekend off, and the weekend that he didn't have off, he would get the Monday and then the Thursday off. So it wasn't even a back-to-back day. So he never quite felt rested. And I know there's a lot of people in those work scenarios, and it is really hard to have a schedule that is really inconsistent. And I know for our family, I could never remember what day of the week we were on because of his schedule. And so it was stressful, but when that man had passed, it really impacted my husband because he was just trying to get used to clients and residents that would be there one day and then they'd be past the next day that they go in or the next weeks. And it was something that he had trouble getting used to, especially because he had formed those conversations and those interactions with in an intentional way. And people who live in nursing homes, they're usually at the end of their life. And so the priorities that they held were usually talked to with my husband, and he often shared the same ones, even though he was much younger. And I could just remember my husband coming home and really valuing the family time that we did have, and doing things like hiking or going to events on the weekends, and really being mindful in each moment. My husband always was like that anyway, but that month I could definitely see more of that coming out. And like I said, working at a nursing home, that's something that you just have to be mindful of because it's something that happens regularly. Another part of the September month that is a little less serious than that was that my mom had bought us a baby gate because we had lived in an apartment before we moved here, and there was really no need for us to have baby gates because we didn't have any stairs. And we're really fortunate now to have, we didn't even have any outdoor space in our apartment. It was all on a third floor level. And so when we moved to this house that we're renting, it has a nice porch and a nice field and a backyard that we love to be able to utilize with our daughter. But there are steps that go down the porch in the back, and so my mom had bought us a gate. Unfortunately, because the way that the railings were set up, there was a gap, and so the railings weren't even with each other to even fit a gate in that section. And so I ended up returning it to our local Aubuchon hardware store, and which was good because it put the money back on my mom's account, and she ended up using it to get flowers and to get more paints that they needed and stains that they needed for their house. So that made me feel really good that it went back on her account. Another part of living in this house is that one thing that we're really thankful for is that it was furnished. And there was this beautiful piece of furniture that was a bureau, and it had this just, it was just exquisite, and it had a mirror too. And I remember on September 6th I was dusting it off and cleaning it to put my daughter's and my clothes in, and I was just taking in the beauty of this piece of furniture that seemed, it seemed timeless, but it also seemed really historic at the same time. And I don't think I've ever had a piece of furniture that is that durable and strong, but also beautiful too. We definitely wouldn't have been able to keep that, or well, maybe we would have been able to take it in the move, but it would have been really hard. And so I'm really thankful to have that piece of furniture here. And I always look at it and think about who might have had that before and just the history behind it. I'm an elementary educator, and even if I wasn't, I love history. So I always think about that with lots of things. Another sentimental time in this house in the first month was on September 10th. My husband and I got to talk to his mom and my mother-in-law for the first time, and they live in Michigan, and so we video chat them. And we both, my husband and I, are not very good at staying in touch consistently with the people in our life, whether it's relatives or friends or family. And the people in our life know that we love and we're thankful for them, but especially having a young daughter too, it's just, there's not there's not a lot of time where we can actually talk and not be having a child either yelling or singing or talking over us. So but in that conversation we were all able to share moments that we've had in the house, and give them a little bit of a virtual tour, and it was a really great conversation, and they were really happy for us. And we were excited to show them around the neighborhood too. We also did a virtual tour with them when we took our daughter out for a little stroller walk as well, and so that was really fun. Um, Another sentimental moment that we had on September 16th is I remember paying our last power bill for our old apartment. And that really made the move feel real, even though we were already living here. And I just remember being so, like, I can't remember what I'm thinking of. Not melancholy. Well, I guess a little bit of melancholy and bittersweet of knowing that that was the final bill that we had for the apartment that we had lived 10 years in. But it was also really exciting to like really be done with the past and have this fresh new chapter and start at this house. And but I just remember feeling all the emotions on that day when we paid that bill. And then let's see. I'm just looking at my notes so I can remember. Um, oh yeah, on October 20th, I remember. Oh, not October 20th. Where was I? Well, actually, I think that that was the last moment or last memory that I wanted to share for September. So I think I'm going to stop the video here and then start another video, and go into the moments in October, and then really hit home in a different video of the months in the winter for November and December. And so thank you all for listening and sharing this time with me. I hope you're all taking care. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.